earlier that F.I.S.H is our designated organization that the proceeds and the donations go to. And tonight, we are honored to have the John Pryor, our immediate past board president, to give you a little information on that. John?
It is a real privilege for me to speak to you this evening about F.I.S.H and the work we are doing every day to help our neighbors in need. And so there's no misunderstanding about my mission this evening. I want to tell you right up front that it is to share with you the passion we have at F.I.S.H. We at F.I.S.H have passion for helping our neighbors in need. And hopefully after my talk, you'll be better understand their needs and know that they are worthy of your financial support this evening. Last week's news press told us that 38% of Americans don't have enough funds set aside to cover a $500 emergency expense. For years at this event, we have been talking about those who live one paycheck away from disaster. And for many living or working here, that disaster this year was Hurricane Irma. As we watched it on television, Irma looked like it missed us. But Lee County on our beloved islands took a beating. No, we didn't have many roofs torn off like you did with Charlie, but downed trees took a huge toll on our electrical wires everywhere. No power meant that businesses had to remain closed. Food in refrigerators and freezers spoiled. Mandatory island evacuation meant that many people needed emergency funds to evacuate. Banks were closed, ATMs didn't work, paychecks didn't appear, and businesses that remained closed due to no power couldn't always pay workers who couldn't work. Fortunately, the city of SanCap did such an outstanding job of clearing the refuse away so we all could begin to resume some sense of normalcy. Yes, bad things happen in the world like hurricanes, disease, and floods. But out of these situations always arise stories of ordinary people doing extraordinary things. And that's F.I.S.H, ordinary people doing extraordinary things. In the days following Irma, F.I.S.H saw a huge increase of our neighbors who needed a helping hand. Fortunately, the Charitable Foundation of the Islands helped us financially, along with the Southwest Florida Community Foundation, and a good number of island residents participated. And we are so grateful. And when Lee Public Schools closed for a second week, the Sanibel Sea School ran a week of hurricane camp that was free to kids who registered for it. And yes, people donated to our food pantry at F.I.S.H even while they were replenishing their own pantries. Again, ordinary people doing extraordinary things. The mission of F.I.S.H has always been to lend a helping hand to those who live, work, or visit here. And for the past 35 years, F.I.S.H has become a comprehensive human service organization focused on neighbors in need. These folks may actually be neighbors of yours, but you may not know their personal circumstances. Let me ask you right now to think, what would you do if a neighbor of yours or someone you know called you and asked you for some food for their family or a small amount of money to help them handle an emergency? I suspect you would do whatever you could to help that person. I know that the chances of that happening are slim. But last month, 684 of our neighbors didn't come to you because they came to F.I.S.H, and F.I.S.H was there for them. Please consider this evening how you can make a real difference in their lives. When F.I.S.H was formed, our primary service was to provide non-emergency transportation for island neighbors who could no longer drive themselves off island to medical appointments. Today, some of our 200 volunteers still do that, but our many services now include a huge food pantry. And when we opened it 8 years ago, it was much smaller, in a smaller office that we had. And we had 16,500 pounds of food given out that year. 8 years later, this year, we will provide 165,000 pounds of food to our neighbors in need. Other services F.I.S.H provides are employment services, healthcare assistance, English as a second language workshops, limited emergency financial assistance, a backpack program, and much, much more. Frankly, you might wonder, why on our upscale paradise do we even need these services? The answer is that there are serious issues like poverty, job loss, and even some loneliness on our islands. Please believe me when I tell you that F.I.S.H is well aware of that, because so many of them who experience it are clients of ours. The 2017 United States Census Bureau states that in Sanibel there are 3,487 family households. Of those households, 484 of them, or 14% of all households on Sanibel, have an annual income below the U.S. poverty level, which this year is $20,420 for a family of 3. Yes, that may be hard to believe, but at F.I.S.H we know all too well that if a family of 3 or even a single person has an annual income of less than $20,000, it is very difficult to make ends meet today. Many of these people work on the island in lower-paying jobs. Others have lived here all their lives and only recently found it very difficult to live on their retirement income. Back in 1996, the Sanibel City Council amended the Sanibel Plan to include what has become known as the Sanibel Vision Statement. It says the following about diversity, and I quote, "The city of Sanibel cherishes our cultural, social, ecological, and economic diversity, and we will endeavor to maintain it." The Sanibel Vision Statement goes on to say, and I quote, "Sanibel is and shall remain a small-town community whose members choose to live in harmony with each other." And I respectfully suggest to you that your support of our neighbors in need is an excellent example of living in harmony with each other. We at F.I.S.H are very grateful that the city has recognized the importance of diversity in our community, and that is the very essence of what F.I.S.H is all about. Think about it. It takes a myriad of workers to keep our shops and schools open and our many resorts and restaurants cleaned and functioning. All of these people give our islands that special flavor that makes it such a pleasure for us to live here. Some of these people have high visibility jobs, but many others, like F.I.S.H's clients, work behind the scenes. Diversity is what keeps us human, and caring for others is an important part of what makes us loving, generous, and fulfilled human beings. I'd like to briefly mention the word compassion. I think it brings up all kinds of feelings in us. Compassion is the ability to understand and help to alleviate the suffering of someone's misfortune. F.I.S.H strives to do that every day. At F.I.S.H, we make a point of knowing our clients, understanding their problems, and helping them to solve as many as we can. Our 2 social workers and our incredible staff are led by our great CEO, President Maggie Feiner. Yes, F.I.S.H is for everybody who lives or works on the islands. And I can tell you that at church or at chorus rehearsal or at Rotary or wherever I go in Sanibel, people often ask me if F.I.S.H can provide a family member or a visiting friend with a walker, a handicapped toilet, a wheelchair, or even a cane. I'm pleased to tell them yes, because F.I.S.H keeps a storage unit of these supplies and provides them at no cost to anyone who needs it for however long, because F.I.S.H is for everybody. In closing, and at this very special Thanksgiving celebration, I would like to quote the opening words from our Big Arts Chorus's first song, which you will soon hear, entitled Thankful. They are, "Some days we forget to look around us. We can't see the joy that surrounds us. We are so caught up inside ourselves, we take when we should give. So tonight we pray for what we know can be. It's up to us to be the change. There's so much to be thankful for." This evening, at this wonderful Thanksgiving time, please consider the needs of your neighbors and give them a special gift from your heart. On behalf of our clients, I thank you.
Thank you, John.